Hey, gang. It's 11:03. Well, there's that again. Clear the voice. Get it ready. 11:03, 11:04, 11:03, still 11:03. It's Friday. It's Valentine's Day. It's not too late, guys. If you haven't gotten something for the special somebody else, whoever, get out there. Keep listening to us while you're on your lunch break. Go get those flowers. Go get that candy. Go get those cards. Whatever you got to get, go get it. Perfume, if she already knows that you screwed up and forgot. Her favorite, not to mention. There's another crash, although this morning while I was getting ready, I realized we can't blame this one on Donnie because it was actually overseas, but we'll still talk about it. Hegseth was heckled this week, as he probably should have been. McConnell is out there seeking revenge. That's right. He's up against Trumpy. Eric Adams gets lucky for now. But first, the Empire strikes again. Trump orders the firing of probationary employees throughout the entire government. Like, that's going to make a positive difference. And it's just so... Oh, I don't get it. I don't understand who's in this guy's ear. I don't understand. None of it makes sense at all. He's going to fire people who've not done anything wrong. And to be clear about these, there's actually a legality to it. And it's something that he can actually do. By the way, I'm closing out the Blake timer because Blake is not with us this week, and Matt's not with us yet either. Shocker. Matt's on lightly colored people time. CPT. LCPT. I mean, I talked to him earlier this morning. I think he's going to be here. But I'm just checking Messenger. Make sure he didn't say, hey, I'm late. Or what is it? Oh, he's trying to get in. All right. If you're listening, I'll send you another one. Invite link. Make sure that... Yeah, I think that might be me. Because I think I did some editing to the platform that we use. So I'll hear the alert if he sees that and checks in. Yeah, so Trump has ordered the firing of more people. And just that he thinks he's doing good is what's incredibly disappointing. There's nobody telling him, at least not with any experience, there's nobody telling him that what he's doing is screwing things up. And that the people that he's firing right now, yeah, he may have the legal standing to do it, but that doesn't make it a good move. He talks about draining the swamp, something he was supposed to do between 5 and 8 years ago that he failed miserably at. We all forget that. And when I say we all, I mean his supporters who are giving him the second chance to do it now. So, yeah, the population is not getting any smaller. So if you're going to properly service these people, it stands to reason that the government's not going to decrease by that much either. Matt, the link I sent Matt did work. He's big dog is here. It's just the two of us. Should I stay on the left, or where are you feeling today?
Oh, you're definitely on the left.
Yeah.
You're so left. You should actually just move yourself off screen.
No, well, yeah. It's Friday. Don't tempt me. So I sent you everything for today already, and we're starting with the fact that he's still firing people. Do you think that any of these, like this particular round, are a bunch of probationary people? And I used to be one of those between the year 2000 and 2003.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that during that time, my boss could come up to me and say, "Hey, pack your stuff. We're downsizing, or we don't think you're going to work out, or whatever." And there was nothing I could do about it. Are these the right people to get rid of?
Well, I think it's going back to your statement just about 30 seconds ago. You said you said that the country's size isn't getting any smaller.
Yeah.
That's actually not true. The birth rates are down. People are not having kids at the same rate. They're not marrying at the same rate. Actually, younger people aren't even having sex at the same rate, going out to clubs, having drinks and stuff like that. So like the whole thing has changed. I mean, you see China is losing population. Japan is at like 1.4 kids per couple, which is not sustainable. You need to be about two and a half or something like that. And so like, no, you do have a huge shift coming of who's contributing to the workforce, who's paying into taxes, and what's the size of the US and a lot of these developing countries going forward, or sorry, developed countries going forward. Now, the developing countries, India, Nigeria, um, Indonesia, the Philippines, they're growing rapidly. We're not. And so, no, I
Right.
don't think that we're going to have the same kind of tax base or the ability to do the things that we have set up unless we do start, making more babies and going out to work and paying taxes. Um, so the reduction of cost, and we talked about this last week, man. Like the reduction of cost is necessary. We have a $2 trillion deficit every year. We have a $36 trillion debt. So like, what do you want people to do? Everybody's like, oh, well, this is not the place to cut. These aren't the people to cut. But somebody's gonna have to go. Something's have to cut. But
How
nobody's
about
gonna be happy.
how about
That's the thing.
what is it? The $40 billion that Elon Musk is getting. That's a good place to start.
Well, I disagree with that too. Well, no, I disagree with that. I
And there's
disagree with your
but there's
statement there.
but there's a difference between, well, you know why I'm making that statement.
Yeah, because
There's
everybody wants to
probably
make that
some
statement
validity.
against Elon because they don't like
There's-
Elon. But that's like that. But that's
No,
not the
they want to
reason.
make a statement against Elon because you can't tell me that all 40 billion of those dollars, or whatever the amount is,
15.
I think it was 40 billion. No, from SpaceX.
The contracts that Elon gets, I think it's like 15 billion.
No, it was at least 34, and then there was Tesla on top of it.
Well, Tesla got a
But you
grant.
can't
The
tell
grant
me
for
that all
400.
of that is necessary.
Well, well. First of all, Tesla got a grant to start up, was just $485 million, and they paid that back early. And so
Yeah,
that was a loan that was repaid.
yeah. Tesla isn't that big. I know that. You're right about that.
And so, but look, I mean, look, I think
Correct.
people are like, oh well, Elon's getting stuff from the government, but these are almost like government. They're okay. Could we cut those? Maybe. Could we shave it? Sure. Can we renegotiate the contracts with Elon? Absolutely. But at the same time, like we have to get stuff into space, and so he created a company that can recycle rockets and get things to space cheaper than NASA did. Before NASA, before SpaceX, you know who we're using? Russia.
It is 40 million.
Billion or million or billion?
Elon Musk savaged as Elon Musk savaged as SpaceX gets new $40 million defense
40
contract
million?
amid his cutting of spending.
40
40
million?
million.
That's peanuts.
Oh no, wait. Yeah, there was a billion in there too. The other
40,
defense
40
one.
million. You lose 40 million in the couch cushions
Yeah,
on
he
a
was in a
government budget.
billion with someone because he's making. Yeah, no, I agree. 40 million is nothing. That's lunch money. But he's making $8 million a day in his personal finances. The
That's
average person on Social
is
Security,
$65. I heard that
the
argument.
average.
That doesn't change the argument of what SpaceX is for. SpaceX created reusable rocket
No, but
rockets
it does
to.
change the argument about what he should be going after, and Social Security should not be one
I
of
no,
them.
I agree with Social Security. No, whoa. Social Security it should not be one of them, and Medicare, Medicaid should not, and people's benefits should not be one of them. That is not saying those are two different arguments. One argument is saying what we should cut and how we can reduce the budget, makes things more efficient, and the other one is saying why does Elon get these contracts? And if you're and everybody's arguing like why does he get these contracts? Like I said, he made a company to do the thing that we need
You
to
don't
do
think
for
one doesn't have
cheaper,
something to do with the other?
huh?
You don't think that the one doesn't have something to do with the other?
Okay, fine. Then let's get SpaceX out of there, and you keep paying the Russians to send our satellites to space. Why don't you do it for $6 billion a launch like NASA used to do?
I got a
It's a
better idea.
stupid argument. It's a stupid argument for people
I
that
got a
just really
better
want to
idea.
argue
This
about
is
that,
not a stupid
about
argument.
giving contracts to people to do things that are in our national the security and defense and economics.
Okay, so
What's your
stop
different
right there
argument? Go for it.
because you're absolutely right. We need to concentrate on national security and defense. Then why are we stopping the support being sent to Ukraine? You think Russia going into further into Ukraine furthers our national security with NATO?
You just like to always jump around to try to make a point without sticking on topic. We haven't even
No,
exhausted the first
no,
topic
but
yet.
it is on topic, and that's the thing that I got to teach you and Blake. One thing has everything to do with the other. Yes,
hmm I'm
I got to take a
I'm gonna
break.
say go for it.
I got to take a break. We'll
Well, you
let Matt have a
take
breather.
no. I'm
I'm
sorry.
just
If anybody
giving
wants to
you
call in, it's
today.
1-888-88-YERGS,
Yeah,
and I
Matt
would love
needs
to hear
help.
everybody's opinion of whose side
Matt
you
needs
think you're
help.
on here, huh?
Uh, Matt needs help.
Matt does not need help. Matt needs to calm this guy down. I mean, literally, I can't believe he's on the screen. He's so far
I
left
am
anymore.
just giving you a little bit of a taste of what Donnie and Company does to the rest of the country, keeping you busy.
I am absolutely clear headed about all of this.
All
So
right.
we
Well,
can
we'll
talk about
talk about
Ukraine when
all
we
of it.
get back. I see that you have your
We'll talk
Ukraine
about
colors
all
on
of it when we've got. Do I? Oh, you mean the
the backdrop.
background? Yeah, that's there every day. 99.1 WDJY.
No, sometimes it's the
And
flag.
yeah,
That's because the
yeah,
flag.
yeah, that's what it is. Um,
You know,
America One
America.
Radio, K Shop. Oh, well, we can put that one up. There's that. We can use that today because
Have
it's
a little
just
patriotism here. There you go. There you go.
you got the up the middle mics and everything. It's just the two of us there, so nothing else is getting blocked out. But with that, I think there's also that one. We can use Take Back the Flag too. The
I'm feeling
hashtag
that.
that if it would be the three of us, that would get blocked out. All right, gang, we will be back right after this.
What are you doing later? I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm going to the gym, but not just any gym. Momentum Fitness and Wellness. Walk right up to the door. There's a QR code on the door. You can sign up right there. You've got no excuse. But not only that, their equipment is amazing. It's kept up well. It's expanded. There's stretching area. There's CrossFit. There's hardcore training. A dedicated area for stretching, dunk tanks, sauna, everything you need to get that Hernando beach body or keep your Clearwater beach body. You can train with your shirt off, you can scream, you can yell, and you won't be intimidated either. Go to Momentum Fitness and Wellness on US 19 in Bayonet Point, Jasmine Estates. Build the momentum.
It's Valentine's Day. You got your missus something? Did you miss something for the big day today?
You're talking about me. Oh, I thought that was the start of a commercial. We're in Valentine's Day. You're missing something.
Well, we're doing a live commercial.
Betty's Chocolates down the street from me. Betty's Chocolates. She makes the best chocolates in Florida. No, I did not. I did not. It's actually my mom's birthday.
Oh, really? On Valentine's, my Rottweiler was born on Valentine's Day too.
Your what?
2005, I think. My Roddy.
Oh, okay. And who is this?
That was Anton.
Anton
the Rottweiler.
Okay, Anton. What a great name for Rottweiler.
But yeah, big black Roddy. Anton. If you still need something though, Yergs is on Cameo. Scan the QR code on your screen or go to cameo.com/Yergs/book. And I can send your other half a very memorable Valentine. Or I can answer a question about the Secret Service or politics, classified stuff aside, of course, or whatever else you want me to do. Birthday shout out. Your mom's birthday is today. I can send mom a happy birthday from all of us at Up the Middle, or just from me. That was Ken's idea to include the Valentine, though. The Valentine shout out. I don't know where Ken's at today. I don't see him in the chat yet.
Oh, he'll be there.
But there it is, Ken. Yep, there it is, Ken. The Valentine Cameo commercial live spot. So yeah, check it. Our code. Go to cameo.com/Yergs/book. $5. That's it. I actually had 2 last week. Woohoo. But yeah, cameo.com. All right.
Love it.
My thing about the reason why I'm getting on Elon's grief about contracts and the possibility.
Are we going to have this music there this whole time? Oh, no, you turned it off. Never mind.
No, I think that you're in the live spots. And it's just the fact that yesterday we talked about the disastrous press conference that he and Donnie Boy gave, and also the president was there too, because everybody brings their 4-year-old son to a press conference in the Oval Office about how transparent he's being. In fact, I just did one of my first vertical YouTube shorts and TikTok and all that other about the whole transparency thing. And he said that, well, we're being very transparent. Everything we do, we tweet on Twitter and we put on our Doge website. That doesn't mean it's accurate. And that doesn't mean that the public is really getting to see what you're really doing. I can send a tweet once every 10 minutes. That doesn't mean that's what's really happening. That's just what I'm saying is happening. And that's the whole point. He should not be leading the charge through the Defense Department when he's got whatever number of, and his answer for that was, well, the contracts aren't with me, they're with SpaceX. Really, dude? Like, if SpaceX came back with a contract that you didn't like, you wouldn't be firing those people that negotiated that contract? Yeah, I mean, how are people okay with this? I gotta start another timer here.
Is that a question that you want answered, or are we still on the tirade against Elon?
I'm not used to Blake cutting me off every 10 seconds.
Yeah. I'm not that kind of guy. I like to hear people talk and then reply to what they said. Blake likes to hear himself talk and then reply to what he said.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Actually,
look, me that the other day.
Look. I think there are there are definitely conflicts of interest here, and they are 100% valid. I also think that the conflict of interest between the companies and who's leading the charge at Doge is also an issue. These are very valid issues that people are bringing up. That's right. I said the truth about Blake. But Ken's chiming in now. But
No, it's in
here's
here.
what I think. I think that we have a look. People been asking ever since early Obama, and then we had the 2008 financial crisis. We had the drop of rates. We had money printing. We had the debt start to go up. We had a couple wars. We had these different fundings, some national disasters. We had COVID and all this stuff. And what we did is we had the debt crawl up. We had our deficit get bigger. And no matter what we do as voters, as a in air quote democracy, our interests are not being met. And it doesn't matter if we're talking about cutting the budget, if we or government spending or transparency to certain things. We've been talking about JFK for 60 years, So, but or if we want to talk about or if we talk about healthcare, if we talk about the healthcare system, insurance reform, crime, policing, drug abuse, obesity, all these different things are things that people have been asking and trying to vote about and protesting and saying like your vote matters. And at the end of the day, we've been seeing that our vote really didn't matter for any of these. And so the result of I heard a great quote the other day. It was, if you want a totalitarian president to succeed, then you must have a weak Congress. And the Congress has been weak so long that all you needed was a person of strength and organization to come in and do what they're doing. But that's the thing is people wanted this to act a long time ago. We wanted it through the democracy. We wanted it through our representatives. We wanted hard decisions to be made. These decisions that were politically not maybe best for their voting record, but nobody ever acted. Nobody ever acted for
Mhm.
care. Nobody ever acted for crime. Nobody ever acted for the debt. Nobody ever acted for these different things, spending and transparency. And what do you get? A weak Congress with somebody who's going to be the strong man. We knew this was going to happen, but that still doesn't underscore or cut out that we still want this to happen. The result is that it was going to happen, in one of three ways. One, it wouldn't happen because the Congress couldn't act. That's number one. Number two, it would happen because a strong man comes in and does it the way he wants it because Congress can't act and you have a weak Congress. That's it. Or number three, the people rise up and we do it the way that we want it to be done. The fact is without the democracy working the way that it's supposed to work, number one, the other two choices are going to be bad. And so this is the one of those
Right.
choices that does not discount that this needs to happen. Now we could talk about the way,
Yeah,
but
I'm
it
not
needs.
saying that yeah. Yeah, it was I'm not saying that the government's awesome and there isn't a lot of waste or there isn't corruption. And I was investigated 3 times solely because of my sexuality during a time where I was protected for my sexuality. 2 of those times came during the first Trump administration. So, yeah, I know that there's some bad things that could be possibly happening. But I fought back on all 3 of those properly. I didn't go firing somebody who could have been fired for their actions. I went through a chain of command and I fought properly. What's happening here, just walking into what was the number the other day? I forget how many, but all of the U.S. attorneys that were hired by the Biden administration were fired earlier this week. Not because they did anything bad, but just because they weren't hired by Trump. While Biden kept U.S. attorneys that were hired by Trump, namely the one in Delaware investigating his own son. So tell me again how the Biden administration is the
That
one
he
doing all the
pardoned.
quote unquote lawfare. Yeah.
that he pardoned. Yeah,
Well,
right, dude.
this stuff, it's coming. Continued lawfare by this administration is coming. It's how is this okay? And like you said, you've got somebody in there that's making a lot of quote unquote tough decisions, but it's not because it's the right decision to make. It's because it's the one that he likes. Elon Musk is
Look,
no different.
here's the fact. Well, look, here's the fact: is those tough decisions weren't made by the people that we voted to make them, and you know who's still not making them? The people we voted to make them. It is absolute crickets up on Capitol Hill. So, like, whatever everybody's bitching about like this, that, or the other thing, nothing's happening besides these boomer protests that are happening outside. Look, here's what I think that's really frustrating for the Democrats is that they still, or Democrats, or these activists.
Boomer.
Activists in air quotes. Just listen to my logic here. Is these activists in air quotes?
Good.
They still think that politics works the way like it did in the civil rights era, where you go out there with signs and you march and all that stuff and you get publicity. And that's not how it works anymore. Like, so you have all these people out there having these.
Because we're going to tell a story when you're finished.
Give me a sec. Give me a second. Give me a second. Give me a second.
When
give
you
me a
get
second.
arrested by the Capitol Police, go ahead. Yeah.
But so you do all these you do all these little protests. They're out there screaming Elon. You have these 80-year-old people, Maxine Waters, Chuck Schumer, and Al Green shaking his cane. We're gonna win and stuff like that. And then you have all these rallies that are popping up over the country saying like, not my President's Day or a bad Elon Day or whatever they're going to be protesting about. That's not how it works anymore. And so so what you have to have is you have an attention economy of cutthroat politics that has to create something different. And this is not what's happening. So on Capitol Hill, you have chirp from everybody, the Republicans and the Democrats. Even if you disagree and you're a Republican or you agree or if you're a Democrat, nobody's really saying how, one, to restructure the organization of any kind of political movement. Number two, it doesn't say that nobody's talking about like actually doing their job and to, if they don't like anything that's happening or like anything that's happening, oppose or support it. What you do is you have a feckless Congress and effective resistance. So I don't even know what to say about this. No, go ahead, yours. I'm sorry.
So no. I'm glad you finished that. You talked about first of all, I've been saying that we're in a civil war and we're a world war, but it's not North versus South or blue versus gray. It's right versus wrong. And the generals don't wear uniforms with stars on their shoulders. They wear black sport coats with black baseball hats and have their 4-year-old kid in the middle of the Oval Office. And the weapons are things like Twitter and TikTok and Newsmax and the FCC.
Yes, agreed.
Those are the weapons.
I do agree with the weapons aspect of it. Yes. I disagree about the 4-year-old because I do like the fact that JD Vance and Elon are normalizing having their kids around.
What I like about Trump, Musk's kid is every time behavior, the kid actually put thumbs down. Did you notice that? Go back and watch when he's talking about transparency. And then there's another one where he calls Donald Trump his effing bitch and tells Donald Trump that he's not the real president.
He didn't say that. He didn't say that.
Doctoring it pretty goddamn good then.
He didn't say that, but whatever.
The quick story I wanted to tell about to illustrate your point that rallies and demos and filling the mall and million-man marches and all that stuff is no longer realistic, because when there is a rally, say, for example, in front of the White House on Pennsylvania Avenue, the Secret Service uniform division, well, particularly the uniform division, has on the lawn up to and including the fence of the South Lawn and the North Lawn, wherever. The U.S. Park Police have the sidewalk. The D.C. Metropolitan Police Department have the actual blacktopped street. And then once you get to the sidewalk on the other side, it goes back to the Park Police. Well, everybody just kind of drops lap, and they organize a meeting between the organization that has the permit for the rally and those who are in law enforcement, Park Police, DC Metro, Secret Service, and in some cases, Capitol Police, depending on where the rally's at. And the organization gives forward a list of the people that they already know are going to be arrested for disobeying a lawful order to disperse, like during a sit-in. That's all staged. It's fake. They're already processed before it even happens. Photo fingerprints, whole 9 yards. They didn't even get there for the rally, and they're in the system. That's how fake that stuff is. So, yeah, I agree. People need to wise up and say the media doesn't cover that anymore. They cover spontaneous ones that are done nationwide, like the anti-Doge that have been happening. But after a day of that, it's old news. It needs to be the continual movement that changed the government in Egypt. Social media took down the government in Egypt 20 years ago or whenever that was. And that's what needs to continue.
Didn't they ban Facebook after that in Egypt?
Oh, probably.
I think they did.
I wouldn't see why not. But let's see. Another segment's over.
So anyway, yeah, I think we agree on the means. It's just frustrating because nobody's in the Democratic side, in my opinion, are just not acknowledging it's still like they're very tone deaf to the will of the people and what the people are also looking for. And it's like what Bernie Sanders says is like, why aren't we running on healthcare for all? Like, people want healthcare. People see that there's a problem with the system. You don't have to call it healthcare for all because that might be a bad thing or taboo anymore. But you could say, like, let's fix this healthcare system.
Especially
let's give more people healthcare.
By definition, include illegal immigrants. Yeah, I get it.
So it's like why aren't we running on those things? Why aren't we talking about kitchen table issues? Why aren't we talking about or even the deficit itself? Why can't we roll that into a Democratic talking point? But instead, you're going to be out there protesting on Not My President Day. And that's just like, it's just so ineffective and petty. And it drives me crazy. You have to change the message. You have to change the ideas. You have to attack this on a multimedia, social media level of engagement and attention. Not My President's Day. You already tuned me off. Like, at the end of the day, I'm sorry, I don't care what you say. President Trump is the president of the United States, and either we work with him or we don't, or we work against him. But just to go out there with like a feckless like statement that says "not my president" is ineffective.
Well, I was thinking about that very concept, working with or against, while I was making coffee before the show this morning, and that is that our politics has changed so drastically that it's to a point where one side, and you don't have to say Republican or Democrat, it's just one side versus the other because they're both doing it, is no longer working every day on every issue towards a bipartisan solution. It's just us versus them.
Well, you can see that with the votes for
how do we take. Go ahead.
I think we're on a little bit delay, sir. But I was going to say we can see that on we can see that on the votes for cabinet officials anymore. It used to be if it was a good person, it was like more of like a 99 votes to. But now it's literally like we're just talking about 1 or 2 votes of who can we flip on the other side. It's the same thing with policy anymore. It's like even if it's a good policy, we're not seeing a lot of bipartisan buy-in. And just because I'm going to be against the other person. And this was always the case. You always want to be against the other side in one way or shape or form. But there was much more of a bipartisan, I'm against you until we can find a solution. And then you'll see a vote that represents more of like hey, a couple people jumped over the line or jumped over the aisle. The other people jumped over the aisle or something. But it's almost just like if we don't have the votes in like one caucus or the other, then it's just like, it doesn't go anywhere. And that's just
Right.
that just shows that there's no like actual nuance to these conversations anymore. Anyway, going back to the protests, going back to how you talk about all of this, there are literal legit, and as we already just acknowledged, legit issues that say Doge or Trump or the budgetary things are trying to address. And it might not be the way that people want it to happen, but that doesn't mean that people do not feel that way. Right. And so just going against that, it kind of misses the point of like, hey, this has to be addressed, but you can do it in a different way. Just going out saying not my president and not and all that stuff, it does not address the overall thing of how the Democrats actually can win in the future and address these issues still. And I think that's a big mistake.
Right. Yeah, that's and that's what I was thinking about, earlier was how do you take a Trump supporter and convince them that their guy is not a good president, not a good leader, not a good this, that, or the other thing? And the answer is you don't.
You don't.
Because you're not going to.
Right.
They're so dug in that the only answer to get that changed is to have more votes on the other side. And that's what hit me, is that like this is and has been, at least since Trump, but maybe even sooner, earlier, us versus them. And that's why, we're in a constant state of civil war. Not just that there's a peaceful transition of power potentially every 4 to 8 years, but it's really a day-to-day battle. And it's not like Tip O'Neill and Ronald Reagan sitting down and hashing things out. It's the current speaker of the same party getting called down to Mar-a-Lago and being told this is how we're going to go,
right,
and you're going to toe the line.
Right, exactly, and
that's not what the Speaker of the House does.
But that goes back to the original question or statement in like about 40 minutes ago. Is if you have a feckless, powerless Congress, and which is what it is right now, and it's just one side versus the other side,
100%.
then what do you expect to happen? And I think the American people don't want this to happen because we've been trying to vote, we've been trying to voice, but we haven't seen any of these people again. There's been no term limits. There's been money into politics. You have 80-year-old people still running for Congress after 40 years, and they're still getting in there, not doing the thing that you're supposed to do, yet having a vast amount of power, a vast amount of resources, and influence. And so, what do we expect is going to be the natural evolution of this, right? And again, it might not be in the interests of the people that these changes are being had, but the people are seeing that finally changes are being had. If you know what I'm saying, like, hey, I'm finally seeing something.
Right.
Something. I've been voting. I've been going there. I've been saying, please do the thing. Nobody's done the thing. Congress has basically checked out. Like you said, Johnson just flies down to Mar-a-Lago and has cocktails with Trump, and then it's whatever he wants. But where was my representative?
Right.
Where was my vote?
What looks especially bad about that is that before that happened, McCarthy before him, were both pushing back on Trump. And now all of a sudden, one golf outing that never even tees off, and boom, they're best buddies. I got to take another break before we end this first hour and lose some of our AM/FM affiliates. 99.1 America One Radio, KSHP, and WZQR, and the rest of the Master Media Network. We'll be back. Oh, I got to cue up a commercial, maybe. There we go. There's a delay. Yeah, there we go. We'll be back right after this.
Hey, what's in your wallet? Well, I'll tell you what's in mine, and it should be in yours. Capital One. My credit card with Capital One has $0 fraud liability for any unauthorized use. 0. Flexible due dates. Look in your wallet. See if it's there. Or go to my Facebook page and click on the affiliate link. You get checked for pre-approval. You can apply for the card and enjoy.
Mitch McConnell. Oh, that's a favorite one. So I've been learning DaVinci Resolve more than what I usually do. And now I'm able to put out better actual shorts. This is what I worked on yesterday. I gotta rewind this.
Look at you.
Look at this thing. Isn't this cool? And that's that one. And then here's the one I did on the transparency.
You know, you can't hear any of this on the radio.
Really?
Yeah, it's not coming through this way, by the way. So anyway,
Oh,
what he's
yeah.
showing is vertical TikToks that he's making using DaVinci. We have old man Yergs. Old man Yergs learning new trick.
That's not working now.
Look at you.
Yeah.
You don't have to have your kid come in and reboot your computer anymore.
No, but I'd like to be able to play them on the show.
We'll figure that out.
But anyway, I put that one up because McConnell was one of the things we had on the schedule for today.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Old Mitchy Mitch, that the turtle that should retire.
He's in a wheelchair.
It's ridiculous.
Did you see this?
No, I didn't see it. And I heard he fell down again and bumped his head or something.
Whatever. I mean,
what if he's not getting? What if he's not falling down? And he's just getting roughed out. Yeah, we have a delay. I don't know if it's my side or your side.
It's kind of a little of both because I'm
gonna refresh. I'll be back. Tag me back in.
All right. So I'm going to pull up a bunch of things that. All right, how's that? Is that doing better?
I don't know. We'll see soon enough.
You sound better too, actually.
Good, awesome.
And by the way, the phone number for the Capitol switchboard has been on the screen for the whole show. Don't forget to call your senators, your congressmen. That's the number for all 535 of them. Give them a call. Give them your opinion. And don't let me tell you what that opinion is. That's not what I'm here for. I'm just here to put a stick of dynamite in your ass so you do it.
Oh, I'm here to tell you what your opinion is. So everybody listen to me. Don't listen to Yergs.
Yeah, there it is. All right. And you can also call us too. 1-888-88 Yergs. Chat's silent today. Is it Friday? Everybody's gone. Travis isn't in today. Amy's been texting me like I work for her or something. I get texts from her all the time. She and Ken sent me were the first two to send me the video of the 4-year-old misbehaving in the Oval Office. Ken's saying that Mitch fell down and bumped his head. Did he go back inside a shell? Yeah. Our turtle is. I think more than a turtle. I think he looks like Beaker from the Muppets.
Yeah, he's a little beakery. Yep.
I think he's Beaker from the Muppets.
He's definitely beakery.
But Hegseth is getting bashed at over DEI and transgender issues. McConnell. Oh, so McConnell's thing was he doesn't agree with the tariffs. All right. Well, shocker. I mean, who pays for a tariff?
Oh, no. Geez, here we go again. The talking points from the news.
But okay, exactly. Here we go again. Got into this guy and said, hey, maybe let's rethink this a little bit. Because the story that I tried to send you earlier this morning, after having sent you this whole list of stuff last night, was that CNN has done a poll and are saying that the exact same thing that tanked Biden is about to do the same thing to Trump. And that is that nobody is fully working on not only the economy, but more namely inflation. And with these tariffs, every single economist going is saying it's not going to drive down inflation. It's going to increase it.
Right.
Yet here he is putting out more.
I think the tariffs are an interesting conversation because it just shows the hypocrisy of what people maybe want from all this. In one aspect, you have people still protesting what happened with NAFTA, the movement of jobs to Mexico and all and China and all this stuff, and so it's like NAFTA bad at the time, NAFTA good. Everybody, let's move things, globalize, blah blah blah, and now NAFTA bad. Okay, cool. We want our jobs back. At the same time, the same people that say, "Hey, we want our jobs back," don't want to put pressure on different places to make it more expensive so we can try to move it back. Okay, fine. Maybe that's just not where we are as an economy or as a workforce anymore. And I can have that conversation. But what I can't have the conversation of is that nothing should happen. Again, this is all
Oh,
the
right.
clutch my pearl people that says, "Oh, I want to do the thing, but the thing's happening, and no, I don't like that one." And it's like, well, something has to happen. And it goes back to me
Right.
talking about China. China, okay, well, actually, this whole conversation with Modi the other day was actually very interesting. India has a lot of big tariffs on American goods over there. We're talking about 15-20% or so. The tariffs coming from India is fairly low. We have maybe 1 or
Right.
2% to import taxes on their goods. Now, to make that even, and in my opinion, it might make things more expensive coming from India, but is that just not fair? Is that just not a fair thing? Like, hey, Modi, why don't you just lower your tariffs for our goods and we'll lower the tariffs for your goods? I mean, isn't that just fair at some point? And I think what
And
we'll have,
especially considering that the U.S. is India's biggest trade partner.
and I think what we'll have in the future is fine. Maybe Modi just plays hard line and says, no, I'm not going to do that. But what will happen is we'll find trade partners through this that says, hey, let's have this free trade more market between us, and our goods can travel more freely and more fairly. And fine, maybe we don't trade with India anymore. That's fine. But maybe we'll trade with Nigeria more. That might be interesting. I don't know what that
Right.
means. You know,
Right.
so I think that
Right.
I just hate that conversation of everything's gonna be more expensive forever and we're done, but we don't do anything about the trade imbalances we have now. What's happening with China? The whole thing that happened with NAFTA, the removal of jobs, and not even bring them. It's like you can't have your cake and eat it too in this situation, and it's hypocritical to just always say, "Oh, but we can't change and everything's gonna be more expensive." I don't know. I don't know if that's the
Right.
case.
Right. Yeah. So the biggest thing for like NAFTA and so on, when Trump ran, I think in 16, he was in, I forget where, but it was Ohio with Carrier air conditioning, and he told them he was not going to let their jobs leave Ohio and go to Mexico. He didn't
Yeah, I think
make it out of the first quarter
they
of
went
his
to
first
Mexico.
year. Huh?
They went to Mexico, didn't they?
Yeah. Yeah. Within that first 3 months. And he never said anything about it. Where are they? Where are those employees from Carrier? And they're not the only ones.
I mean, so we can admit that this is a thing, and so
Oh,
I don't.
God, yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I don't.
You aren't going to fight about that.
I just don't know that. So if when everybody says tariffs are going to make things more expensive for Americans, in some cases it might, in some cases it might not. But the thing that I will 100% allow the administration to do is to have those conversations and even threaten, bully, or negotiate whatever word you want to use or whatever tactic you want to use with different countries that have trade imbalances. Again, if you're taxing, and again, in India, what you're doing is you're taxing lower income people 15% tariffs on our goods. So it's not like it's even. It's not like they're a rich country. They're going to say, hey, you know what? We can absorb it because we have a lot of extra disposable income, because we have 2 cars, 2 houses, our kids are all in college and all that stuff. No, it's like it's being a tax on them that really doesn't have the disposable income
Right.
to absorb 15%. Like, so they're not buying because of that. And if we lower that even a 5%, and go to 10%, that is and especially with a population of 1.4 billion people, that is millions of more people that now have access to a product that we might send over there. So
Right.
yeah, bully them. Let's go.
But I mean, he's doing that to our bigger trade partners, Canada, Mexico, even China. I mean, China's the quote unquote bad guy or whatever,
Let's
but
go. Do
not
it.
when you're your bank. That's what Hillary Clinton said, God, 15 years ago. how do you tell your bank where to go? And that's why we couldn't be, bigger or stronger against China, was because they owned us, literally, in some cases.
I mean, well, we did put a lot of tariffs on them, and they've been doing this forever. Again, China's a different talking point, in my opinion, because it's about reciprocity, and we don't get much from China. The only person that actually ever benefited to have a wholly foreign-owned company of any substance in China is Elon. And so, and so, like, I don't even know. That's a whole different conversation. But yeah, I think that you should be looking at the trade tariffs on. But everybody's just like, oh, but it's our friends. I don't care. I don't care. It's like here's the thing. It's like the average people just don't like conflict. Don't want to piss people off. It's like, oh, we're friends with Canada, so everything's good. We might be friends with Canada, but everything might not be good. You might have friends in your life that, hey, we're good friends. We're gonna go out drinking and have some beers in our garage, but we have some shit to work out too. So it could be both at the same time, and it doesn't mean that just because you're friends, you don't go play tough with them. It's absolutely fine. I just don't. It's just like we have these risk-averse people that don't want to engage with this because for some reason we're friends or something. Oh, okay. So we can't have a talk about economics, about trades, renegotiate contracts. And honestly, these aren't really emotional contracts. This isn't like, hey, we want to adjust these prices. Oh, no, we're not friends anymore. That's not how these things work. It's more like, hey, we have a sheet of stuff and numbers. And it's like, how can we, what if we do like 2% this way? What will you do? We're going to do 2% that way. Maybe we'll do this and do that. It's a negotiation. They're not going to stop trading with anybody. So I think everybody just, again, needs to stop clutching their pearls and let the negotiations happen.
All right. Well, with that, I've got to do some wrapping up because we're coming up on the end of the hour. We're going to be losing some of our AM/FM affiliates.
I feel like I'm Blake right now.
I know. Yeah, you're doing all right. I like it. I also need to refill a coffee, so I'm going to be playing some music in a minute. You got to go get another protein shake or anything, or
I'm gonna go get a Celsius.
Yeah,
and get super amped for the next hour.
Go through some plugs and get some coffee. I'll let you go do that. And if you're in the Pasco area, go to my SRCA, Sea Ranch Civic Association. Sign up today. Definitely a very new association. I mean, it's not new, but it's very much improved. Go to mysrca.com and sign up today. You can reach Jane Stahl by going to the Boyertown Area Expression at boyertownareaexpression.com.news. That's our hometown newspaper, our online digital newspaper. You can also reach her at studio is 202-224-3121. Call your senators, call your congressman. Let them know what you think about Doge. What do you think about everything happening right now, especially a lot of the illegal things being done by the Trump administration. Later this month, sometime beginning of next, we'll be on DNR Studios. That's Derek and Romaine, formerly of SiriusXM satellite network. They now have their own. Go to dnrstudios.com. You can reach Matt at the Daily Crypto News or at deemerforcongress.com, Matt at dailycryptonews.net, and info at deemerforcongress.com. Blake will be back next week. He's the host of The Homeless Conservative. Blake at thehomelessconservative.com is his contact. You can get us all by going to news, N-E-W-Z, at Yergz, YERGZ.com. And for more info and other information and contact methods, you can go to yergz.com or mastiff.media. In the next hour, we've got the McConnell story that we didn't talk about yet. And then also Eric Adams has been told that the Justice Department is dropping the charges on him. And as a result, Danielle Sassoon and company, the U.S. attorneys looking into the case, have resigned. So that and more after this. 99.1 WDJY. America One Radio seems to be down today. I listen to that while Matt's talking and while the other guys talk. 1400 AM and 107.1 FM KSHP, K-Shop in Las Vegas, WZQR. I'm going to listen to see if we're still on them for the second hour. I don't know if they stay with us or not. I know the UG.media does. go to the ug.media channel XL if you want to continue with us there. And then also Jurg's Radio Chatter. And I think that's all of them on all of our social media and the rest of the Mastiff Media Network. We'll be back for hour number 2 right after this, I think.
What's that smell? In my studio, it's Aroma by Peter. Scented wax candles with long-lasting wicks that make your place smell amazing. And don't worry, guys. Plenty of scents for you too. For us too. So go to aromabypeter.com.
Okay, I guess that one's over.
What are you doing later? I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm going to the gym. But not just any gym. Momentum Fitness and Wellness. Walk right up to the door. There's a QR code on the door. You can sign up right there. You've got no excuse. But not only that, their equipment is amazing. It's kept up well. It's expanded. There's stretching area. There's CrossFit. There's hardcore training. A dedicated area for stretching, dunk tanks, sauna, everything you need to get that Hernando beach body or keep your Clearwater beach body. You can train with your shirt off, you can scream, you can yell, and you won't be intimidated either. Go to Momentum Fitness and Wellness on US 19 in Bayonet Point, Jasmine Estates. Build the momentum.
All right. So, like I said, in this one is going to be, we'll talk about Hegseth, I guess, for a little bit. We'll get further into McConnell. And the headline read, McConnell seeks revenge. I don't know where that's coming from. Then also Eric Adams had the charges against him dropped. And as a result, some of these attorneys resigned in protest. So there is a Democratic governor, or excuse me, mayor, being investigated for corruption by the Trump White House and Justice Department. And the charges were dropped. So see what happened there. This is good. What I'm liking on this, you guys listen first to each other and then respond. Yeah, Blake, you hearing that? Anyway, let's see if he's got his Celsius. You all ramped up now?
I'm getting there. I'm getting juiced.
Uh-oh. I think that's me. Hold on. Hey, you still there?
I'm here.
Yeah, that was me. My fault.
I'm getting juiced.
I potted down the music on the main board, but that takes everybody except me down. So, all right, it might have taken me down too. I don't know. But yeah, so which one do you want to do next? Hegseth being heckled, or McConnell seeking revenge, or Eric Adams?
McConnell or Adams? I don't know anything about Hegseth.
He was heckled by a bunch of Defense Department family or military families at a speaking event. I mean, I love how that whole administration is anti-DEI, and I'll just say this, and we'll get to McConnell problems. They're anti-DEI, yet Hegseth and Patel are not DEI hires. You're telling me they're qualified? I'm like, yeah, no. What?
I mean,
Are you siding with Blake on this one?
am I siding with Blake? I don't even know what Blake's opinion is. I don't know about.
Blake's opinion on cabinet members is that the president should get essentially a blank slate, and
I do.
so
I think so as well. Actually,
unless they're egregiously criminal, you should not vote against them. But I think there needs to be certain qualifications. Like, for example, we went from a 4-star general being the Secretary of Defense to a guy who was barely, what was he when he left? A major, maybe? And any large leadership positions he had prior to this, he ran into the ground. Lloyd Austin not only commanded U.S. troops, but commanded U.S. troops from other branches and also other countries. I think there's a pretty big difference there.
Yeah, I do kind of side with Blake with this one. I think that there should be a exploratory committee from Congress or the Senate and say, hey, let's ask some questions, let's get it on public record. But I think for the most part, the president should just get a choice of who they're going to get.
What I mean, as if they're even remotely qualified, yes, I could have picked somebody that would have been a better Secretary of State. But I think Marco Rubio can handle it. Have at it, kid. Knock it out. Kash Patel at the FBI? No. Kash Patel doesn't even know how to spell handcuffs, let alone use them.
Mm-hmm.
So this kind of continues our tariff conversation. I could actually open it up so I can see more of it. What's that one? Oh, Colin Rugg.
That was for another chat actually, but there's a
Colin Rugg. Talk about smug a-hole.
I don't even know who he is. I just know he tweets a lot.
He's a conservative talking head. And I watch them too, to be clear. But yeah. So there he is in his feels. But McConnell is taking his revenge on Trump. For the third time in 3 weeks, former Senator GOP leader Mitch McConnell, and to be clear, he's still a senator. He's just not the lead senator of the GOP. From Kentucky, had a scathing explanation for he voted no on a Trump nominee. After he voted no on a Trump nominee, why this matters? I like how Axios sets up a story. Why this matters? Freed from his leadership role or the long history of antagonism between himself and President Trump. I lost my place. There we go. McConnell has become one of new Senate GOP leader John Thune's top dissenters. I'm a survivor of childhood polio, McConnell said of his no vote on Thursday for Robert F. Kennedy Jr. I will not condone, here we go, I will not condone the relitigation of proven cures, and neither will millions of Americans who credit their survival and quality of life to scientific miracles. I mean, there we go. Kennedy Jr. is not a doctor. He is a whacked out conspiracy theorist against many proven. Is that a beer? You got a beer rocking there? Or is that?
That's my Celsius.
Okay. I have no idea what those are. So, I mean, not outside of a can anyway. So, I mean, here it is. Somebody actually stepping up and saying, these people actually have, and Kennedy Jr., who is 71 and looks 91, is not one of them, even though he was confirmed.
I think he
And
looks
he was also
91.
one of my parents are 73. They look way better than he does, and sound better too.
What flavor of energy drinks? Yes, Ken, it is peach vibe. That is the best flavor. Peach vibe Celsius is my jam.
Yeah, but I think he's going for flavor there, not favor. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I
and if
read that as favor.
Trump fires back with, "I feel sorry for Mitch," Trump said, claiming that McConnell's wanted to stay leader. Nobody wants to stay something that makes their life miserable. And you can't tell me that McConnell was enjoying it at that point. And I think the next one to go is going to be Chuck Schumer. I think he's going to give up the Dems in the Senate to somebody younger.
About damn time.
Yeah, I agree.
I think this is another frustration with like the people in general is that we see a Trump administration coming in with an average age of 52 years old of his hires. Now you can say what you want about the people, but the average age is
You mean of his
52 in this
appointees?
administration. And then yes, is an appointees. But then you see people like who's leading the charge on the Democrat side again: Maxine Waters, Chuck Schumer, Al Green, all these people.
Yeah.
They kicked AOC again. I'm not an AOC fan, but she was trying to get leadership position and she got stonewalled by Pelosi. And it's like you have a bunch of these old 80-year-old, 78, 80-year-old, 82-year-old people that are just way past their prime. And I'm not saying that they didn't do good work when they were there for whatever they did and whatever, they don't deserve their flowers, but at the end of the day, guys, like you're just holding on to power, and every young person is getting frustrated with this. And then you're trying to say, hey, let's fight and let's rally and whatever. But who, like you're not following Maxine Waters into the front lines. Like there's no way.
Right.
I mean, maybe you could push her in there on a wheelchair, use her as fodder, but there's nothing else. She's not leading the charge.
I mean, there it is. That's exactly what's happening.
Exactly.
As Beaker gives 2 thumbs up.
Look, McConnell got to go. It's honestly embarrassing. This is some kind of, I don't know if it's like elder abuse or this guy is just really just doesn't want to. Have you ever watched the show Succession?
No.
I'm making my way through it. I avoided it because I knew I was going to get addicted, and I've been just like literally hunched in my room for 3 days straight trying to get through the series. But the whole thing is this guy, he's the head of like a media corporation, and he's the dad of 4 people, obviously in their 30s and 40s. He's in his mid 70s, maybe pushing 80. And he just will not pass the torch to one of his kids or anybody. And it's just like the same thing as you see him just fighting and holding on to power because he's just the smartest, the best, the one who's in control with the best ideas. And it's just like, come on. Yes. We all know who Beaker is. That's Mitch McConnell. And anyway, McConnell is just one of those guys. I don't know if it's elder abuse like Dianne Feinstein, but I don't know. Or Mitch really just wants to stay in power. What do you think? Do you think it's a Dianne Feinstein sort of thing where they just forced her in there for the vote, or?
Yeah, but she wasn't in a leadership position. I mean,
yeah,
look at Barbara.
Remember, she was on the judiciary, and they need her vote for picking, I think, judges.
No, but I mean, she wasn't like, yeah. And I think that is,
dude. She was under the custodial. I'm sorry, we have the delay again, but she was under the custodialship of Pelosi's daughter, and she just had an episode. She wasn't even coherent. She was wheeled in to the chambers to vote. There's no way she voted. It was Pelosi voting.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's a huge mistake that to give credit to the show you're talking about, that so many of these people in various positions make, is that they don't have a line of succession ready, not just for when they're old, but if something happens, like they fall and hit their head. You know, why are they not grooming somebody to replace them someday? You know, and Trump's just as bad. He just flat out said earlier this week or late last week that he does not endorse J.D. Vance as his successor. Really? Because remember, successor as vice president is not necessarily just to be the next president elected. But if something happens right now, he's the guy. Or, as it was earlier, the gal. And if you can't endorse that person right now, why did you run with them? And so, yeah, I think it is a certain level of elder abuse, even if it's self-abuse in McConnell's situation. And same thing with Biden. Dude has been in public service at the federal level for as long as I've been alive. And I'm retired from a career. And
Dude, the same thing. The same thing with this Marcy Captor over here. Again, I will say this as many times as needed. She is the sweetest lady ever. She's been in Congress since 1982. 1982. I was born in 79. So for my whole time, she has been somewhere in Congress, my whole time of being alive. And just like to go back what you're saying, like I don't see any kind of like plan of her training somebody or getting them like the visibility. And again, this is a whole different ball game than when she ran in the 80s, where you went out there and you had your signs and you knocked your doors and stuff like that. Like, you need to have somebody with their name visibly in the media in front, helping you out to pass the torch if that's what you're going to do. I don't know if they're just thinking that she is going to lose her district because she's running and winning on her name alone, or I don't understand. But it's like there is literally no attempt to bridge it to a new generation that I can see.
Yeah.
But she's still there. She's in her 80s. I think she's in her 80s. She's in upper 70s, but she's been there since 82. Crazy.
That's fatal. That's not just fatal to like that particular district, or in the case of a senator, that particular seat for the state, but that's going to be fatal to the entire party and to an entire movement, because it's not just one or two people that are not planning for that succession. It's an entire generation of politicians.
Well, it's also interesting because, like, look, she's been there for 40 something years, 43 years. And that means she's been through four or five redistricting. So like the people that the people that she represents aren't even the same people every time she does this, and at least this last time she had to change the districts a couple times because we have redistricting issues here in Ohio. So she has been, it's like you elect this person to represent you, but then she's not even the same person as representing you. So it's like this kind of like weird morphing of her moving around the state. She's representing these people over here, and then she's representing these people on the west, and then she's representing everybody else. And it's just like, I don't know if that's actually a good thing either, that she just keeps moving around like Shamu, moving from San Diego up to Portland or Seattle.
Does that ever? Oh, God damn it! I'm not going to be able to. Oh, maybe I can. The next story that I'm getting set up for is from the New York Times, but I think they might be one of those where you can only get so many articles, and then you have to pay for it. But so far, I'm still in my freebie. Has she ever come close to switching districts outright because she didn't cross the line crossed her?
I think she's always stayed in her house, and she's always ran in the district that she was drawn into, and she's never moved from her immediate area, but her expansion areas have always moved. So she used to be our representative over here, but we're 90 miles east of her. And then that moved. Now she's going west. So it's just interesting that this is the case, and so it's like I'm for term limits because of this situation.
But also, not just that, but the ban. Well, I'm reading the thing you sent me from Colin Rugg. I would expect something like this to come from the Republicans. Ohio lawmakers have proposed a new law that bans men from ejaculating without intent of conception. It would fine men up to $10,000 per shot. The bill was brought forward by Democratic state reps who I would not want to have sex with in the first place. So,
I
yeah.
think they're calling it the honorable or dishonorable discharge bill. I'm joking about that. Yeah. So
the lawmakers say that the point of the Concept Begins at Erection Act is to call out the hypocrisy of bills that regulate women's bodies. Well, they might have a point there. But this guy, he's just, I just hate this about all the conservative talking heads. This is their headshot. He's got some smug, yeah, look at me, how nicely dressed I am, but I'm so cash with the open collar. Dude, you're nobody. You're just like the rest of us. And of course, he's got the refrigerator on wheels. Like, why would you put that as your? Ugh.
my man's criticizing him for dressing nice.
At least he doesn't say that he's a patriot.
Why can't you be a patriot?
Because I just did a whole hour on this earlier this week. Because let's see, does he have it? Oh, there we go. I know Barack Obama is a Kenyan. I know the 2020 election was stolen. I know J6 was not an insurrection. You don't know squat. This dude used to be a cop. Gunther Eagleman. Until proven otherwise, I believe Michelle Obama is a dude. There you go. That's class.
Class.
Dude, take that background, that blue line flag down. You do not deserve it, you hick. Born in 1974? That photo looks like he was born in 1944. Ugh. This is our competition. This. I'm about to go on a rant.
Oh, yeah.
But, all right, so speaking of a rant, Eric Adams, the mayor of New York, was being investigated for public corruption. When the Justice Department earlier this week said, no, we're good. And this young lady called BS, let's see, I can say it, called bullshit, and resigned. She is from the Manhattan Federal Prosecutor's Office and said this case should not have been dropped. I don't know. Usually when the FBI comes for your phone, it's for a pretty good reason.
Mm-hmm.
Manhattan's U.S. attorney on Thursday resigned rather than obey an order from a top Justice Department official to drop the corruption case against New York City's Mayor Eric Adams. Then, when Justice Department officials transferred the case to the Public Integrity Section in Washington, which oversees corruption prosecutions, the two men who led that unit also resigned.
So,
according to 5 people with knowledge of the matter.
So I mean, if we go back to these corruption charges, if I remember, there was 2 things that were in the spotlight. The first one was upgrades to first class when he was flying to Turkey, and so he apparently Adams, knowingly or unknowingly, usually probably works through an aide or a secretary or something like that. That when he got to the gates, he got upgraded to first class for his flights out to Turkey, and those were considered. Well, I don't know what they're considered. Whatever. So there was that, and then there was the embassy that Eric Adams got on the phone to the building or construction people or whoever does the codes and the permitting, and said, "Hey, let's get this permitted quick." And they were pushing. He was pushing them to get something open quick because I think Erdogan was coming into town and they wanted to do a press conference or a meeting over in the new embassy or consulate. Sorry. So um, when I looked at those, and again, there might be more serious accusations. I didn't see anything that was so substantial that was really warranted of this. And honestly, isn't that what you're supposed to do if you're like the mayor? It's like, hey, you know what? This consulate's taking long, and we have this thing coming up. Let's get this thing done. Let's get this thing permitted. You call somebody up and say, hey, let's get your shit together and get this thing open. Do what you need to do, and you light the fire a little bit. No, or is that not allowed anymore in government or in leadership?
Here's the other thing that I'm not surprised that this was dropped. We all know how transactional Donald Trump is. And the apparent reason that the Justice Department is giving is that, where to go now? The agency's justification, can I highlight this? There we go. The agency's justification for dropping the case was explicitly political. Mr. Bove, Emil Bove, a former defense attorney for Trump, now one of the Justice Department reps, had argued that the investigation would prevent Mr. Adams from fully cooperating with Mr. Trump's immigration crackdown. So there's bipartisan potential.
Oh, right.
In that we leave this guy in office, I'm going to get my immigration stuff done.
Well,
Mr. Bove made a point of saying that Washington officials had not evaluated the strength of the evidence or the legal theory behind the case. So they're even saying this might be BS. But then the U.S. attorney, who was all of 38, by the way, speaking of the average age within the Trump administration, Ms. Sassoon, in a remarkable letter addressed to Attorney General Pam Bondi, said that Mr. Bove's order to dismiss the case was inconsistent with my ability and duty to prosecute federal crimes without fear or favor, to advance good faith arguments before the courts.
Look, she's smart.
That's really well
she knows she can get out of there, make a headline, and get paid way more in the private sector. So she got her moral flowers. She got out, and now she's going to make millions.
Yeah.
So our loss, she did the right move.
Yeah,
she did the right move, and I agree that I am definitely one for prosecution of or actually looking into these kind of things. Look into them. Again, when I reading what I read, I don't know what actually Eric Adams did that was so egregious to warrant this. But also, a lot of people are talking that this is, again, lawfare because Eric Adams was one of the first cities to come out and say, hey, we're not taking these immigrants or refugees or whatever because there's just too many. And you had all these states in the South that were shipping them up to New York. And he's just like, I'm not doing this. And then Biden was like, and that was the contention between the Biden administration and the party was like, hey, you're a Democrat. This is what we're running on. And I am not going, and you're not taking this. You're going against us. So I am not too sure how this maybe didn't even start as political. And so now Adams was not in favor with the Biden administration, but now he's coming in favor of the Trump administration. So it's like, I don't know. Poor guy seems like being rocking a hard place, just trying to run a damn city. And I don't want to.
There were apparently, according to this. That's all right. Go ahead.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Well, just according to this quick blurb from the DOJ website, there were also some campaign finance issues, like what successful top-level politician does not have a gray area somewhere with things they've paid for from campaign contributions.
Yeah, I think I couldn't answer that. I don't see they I will say from doing campaign finance, there are some just gray areas in general of like how to file different things and how much you can file and what you can pay, and then if you're doing a big campaign and you're getting a lot of donations, you're doing a lot that can be probably scrutinized, but that isn't illegal. And also a lot of people do get things wrong. For example, if you look at my statements from my campaign finance, you'll see like certain sectors that give to me, and
Right.
and if you work at the same, a lot of people that are individuals and are just like identify as Democrat or Republican, but they don't work for the company. For example, like P&G, Procter and Gamble, you'll see
Yeah.
a couple of donations come in from them, and that's your employer. And next thing you know, on my report, it says $12,000 from Procter and Gamble, and it's like Procter and Gamble didn't give me that. It was the individuals who work at Procter and Gamble. So now it's being reported as Procter and Gamble, and so it's kind of one of those things like it's kind of dishonest as well. So,
But is that something that you can change?
no. So, like for example, so one of the things that they keep getting on some of these congressmen for is like, well, you take millions of dollars from X industry. Look at this, the oil industry gave you $1 million, and it's
Bernie
like, well,
Sanders just did to deal with that.
so it's like, but again, it's like if you work in the industry and say what industry you work for, it's part of the the requirements for being a donor of anything over $100. I think it's $50 actually, but 50 to $100 is you have to give them all this information. And so now if you just search by industry, you have, he ran for president, so maybe 10,000 people work in the oil and gas industry, and next thing you know, Bernie Sanders got $1 million from oil and gas, and it's just like, wait, that's not the point. There are individuals that maybe just are secretaries at Exxon or something that say, I like Bernie, that's different.
Right.
That's different than, say, a PAC created by the oil and gas industry that says, save our oil PAC, and we're pumping money into political ads for Bernie Sanders or something. That's different.
Right. All right. I got to take a break quick. When we come back, what's left? I do have another one. Have you been feeling like seasonal depression?
Me? Is this an ad or no?
No, this is an actual story. I think we're kind of.
I get seasonal depression like crazy. Absolutely.
Right. We'll talk about that right after this. Let's see. We don't have 99.1 anymore. Who's left? America One's on like doing nothing but commercials all day. So WZQR and Yerg's Radio, the UG.media. We'll be back right after this.
Hey, what's in your wallet? Well, I'll tell you what's in mine, and it should be in yours. Capital One, my credit card with Capital One, has $0 fraud liability for any unauthorized use. 0. Flexible due dates. Look in your wallet. See if it's there. Or go to my Facebook page and click on the affiliate link. You get checked for pre-approval. You can apply for the card and enjoy.
Hello? Looks like Yergs is not here. Where's Yergs? Ken, there he is.
Hey, everything just froze on me.
Well, there we go.
Whole thing. The stream's still going too. That's cool. Good. All right. So during that, what was supposed to be a commercial, I don't know how much of it made it out, but I don't know why this keeps happening again. I just had this whole system fixed, and I don't even know that it's really. I mean, it's got to be. See what the speed test is. It's taking way long to connect to even do the speed test. That's not good.
We can hear you. It's fine. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, good.
Well, I mean, you had seasonal depression.
What the? Yeah. Thanks for whatever cover, and you could always call in and join. Actually, you wouldn't have been able to because it would have been me. It's got to be. It's got to be this. Some of the fans were repaired. Yeah, I mean, I've got almost 1,000 up and down, so it's not that. So where is it? Let me get my seasonal story. I mean, I was thinking about it just because of I don't like having windows open, like shades, if I'm sitting right by a window, because that could spell disaster.
Why is that spelled a disaster?
Well, I mean, for somebody that's been in law enforcement for almost 25 years, I've pissed in a few Cheerios. And as a result, I have no idea who's going to do a drive-by. But order blocking parts of Trump. Is that? Okay, that's it. Okay, so tell me if you can hear this. One.
No.
It's over.
No.
I lost this. Well, no, I'm not playing anything yet. Hold on.
Still no.
Okay, let me know if you can hear this.
Temperatures keep people indoors. Many may find themselves struggling with seasonal depression. So many folks certainly can relate to this. It's a type of depression that usually occurs during the fall and winter months. Symptoms may include increased fatigue and weight gain. Fortunately, experts say that there are a number of strategies to combat these feelings, including increasing exposure to light and socializing with others. For more on how to beat the winter blues, we're going to bring in Nora Tobin this morning. She's a certified integrative health coach, executive performance coach, and CEO of Nora's Naturals. Nora, thank you so much for being with us. And obviously, this is something so many people can relate to. Tell us more about why the lack of exposure to natural light, it sounds so simple, in the winter affects our moods and how we can counteract that.
Absolutely. Well, good morning, and thank you so much for having me. Our moods are quite affected by our circadian rhythm. So our circadian rhythm is our body's 24-hour clock, and it regulates different neurotransmitters to the brain, as well as hormones such as serotonin, that feel-good hormone, as well as melatonin, which actually gives us that sleepy effect. And it can dysregulate or create an imbalance in our cortisol, which is our stress hormone. So we could feel a little bit more tired and wired at this time of year. We can certainly feel that lack of boosted mood, and it can really affect our sleep. So ways to combat this will be, number one, regulating light. So light plays a huge role in that circadian rhythm function. So first thing in the morning, we actually want to experience brighter light. So that could be hopefully sun, but at this time of year, it's hard to find that bright sun. So simply just turning up those screens, turning the light on those screens high up, getting that overhead light in your house or in the office, that's all really helpful to be admitted into the eyes and increase that production of serotonin. In the evening, we want to actually do the opposite. So in the evening, we want to lower the light on the screens, as well as try.
And it's interesting, not a lot of light to be had right now these last few weeks, really, with all the storms coming in, but totally understand your point here. And Nora, people might overload their schedules to try to avoid those feelings of isolation that winter can bring on. But you're saying a busy schedule isn't always a good thing. What tips do you have in terms of just balancing all of this?
Certainly. Routine can be such a wonderful thing for not only our productivity, but also enhancing our mood. So one thing that actually has helped me, and I've shared this with my clients, it's been a great productivity tool as well as just a wonderful release for happiness, is first thing in the morning, take 2 minutes to write a few pages of really anything you want to release for the day. So whether that's something that happened the day before that doesn't really serve you anymore, intentions for the day, certainly goals can be helpful at this time, or simply just stating something you're grateful for. This can be a great way to set ourselves up for action versus reaction in the day. active breaks. Go ahead. My apologies.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, speaking of action, right? Like that's such a good segue here. So even when we know like movement or time with friends
chair yoga
can really lift up our mood, it can be hard to actually physically get ourselves out of the door, especially, and here's the key, when it's cold out. So do you have any advice on how to motivate oneself to try to like take these steps? I know I can do it. I can go out there into the frosty tundra just to be able to get, the blood flowing.
Absolutely. Well, our physiology has a direct impact on our psychology and vice versa. So when we even just take 2 to 3 minutes of movement in the midst of our day, this can be at the office, on the subway, or certainly at home. But taking those 2 minutes of an intentional break, simply standing up and doing any kind of calisthenics or breath work, if you have the time, 20 minutes of interval training influences our EPOC, which is going to help regulate our metabolism and fat burning. But really, it's not more than 5 minutes that we need to influence our psychology.
That's so fascinating that it's only a few minutes, but that it goes a long way. Nora Tobin, thank you so much for some key tips this morning to deal with seasonal depression. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. You too.
All right, there it is. No more excuses.
Sounds so brilliant. Hey, if it's dark, turn on the lights, and when it gets dark outside, turn down the lights. I could do this.
Yeah,
I can do this. Did she mention? I tuned out after a little bit. Did she mention vitamin D pills or?
No, actually.
Yeah. Well, I look at it. It seems like I'm one up on her already. I'm not feeling it.
Yeah,
I'm not feeling her.
I've been wanting to get out. I've been saying I'm going to start back at the gym. It's going to be almost 2 years since I've been at the gym regularly this April.
Get your big bones in there.
When I see pictures of what I used to look like compared to what I look like in a mirror right now, like that alone is depressing. And now, I'm working on getting my jet skis fixed so that I can get back out on the water at least. But the thing that I think the dangerous side of it and why people don't go out is because I don't get to work on all this. If I'm out riding a jet ski or working out at the gym or doing whatever, the one thing I don't let it stop me doing is walking the dogs because it's not their fault.
Well, it is their fault. It is absolutely their fault.
We got out before the show this morning. Now they're cuddled up over there. There's both of them.
It's 100% their fault. They don't have opposable thumbs. They have no lips. They can't talk.
Oh, believe me, they talk.
Well, then tell them to get a job. Put them on Thursdays at 2:00. What are you doing?
There you go. The puppy power hour. But
it sounds like you were thinking about that for some time. Sounds like you've been thinking about that.
No, they do have what we call the puppy pillow pile when they're bunched up like that. Last night I came into bed and on the one side of the bed I have like all these body pillows that I have for them, so they have something to like cuddle up into and lean on and whatever. And Matrix sleeps better if his head's elevated. And Shady, smaller one, is on top, like king of the mountain, on top of all these pillows, which is where Matrix, the larger one, usually sleeps. So of course his head's on my pillow and slobbering all over that, and freshly done sheets, by the way. And now I've got no place to sleep. So I kind of pick her up and slide her down to the other pile of pillows that's more at the foot end of the bed. And I'm sleeping diagonal in the spot where Matrix would be and where my feet normally would be. But yeah, it's not even my bed. My bed is theirs.
So sad. So sad.
I just get to sleep on the edge of it.
All right, so with 18 minutes left, what are we going to tackle next? What's the last thing we want to tackle in terms of politics? Oh, what am I doing this, man? Let's not talk about that. I have nothing. I'm going to be finishing Succession. That's my plans.
Refinishing what?
The TV show I'm watching.
Oh. Right on. Yeah.
That's my big plans.
I'm prepping for Mom and Dad's visit later this month.
That's nice.
We're going to be working on some of the stuff you see in the background. So I got to make it look like I've been doing some of that all along to begin with. Definitely clean thoroughly. Mom's usually on me about that. And then I'm going to set up some meetings with like contractors and structural engineers, that kind of thing, to get this house built and prepped for the next. Apparently, one of my neighbors told me the Farmer's Almanac is calling for another rough hurricane season. So that could be fun. So I want to get this at least part of a second floor on by the time August gets here. So worst case scenario, I've got a place here to go instead of my bed, because that was underwater 6 months ago. Ken, what are you doing this weekend? What's happening? What do you got? Do you have plans tonight, Matt? For
No.
No. You're not Valentines?
No.
Celebrators?
No.
What are we gonna do? Romantic.
What are we gonna do? Go out to eat?
Yeah,
we go out to eat all the time.
Oh, really?
I mean, what are we gonna do? Go out to a fancy dinner again?
At a place you only go to for fancy dinner night, maybe.
Wait. I don't know. I go out to fancy dinners all the time, so it's not a.
I don't. And in fact, the past couple of weeks, talk about like seasonal depression. God, the past couple of weeks it's been a little cold out. My
same
is still also torn apart. Yeah, but I mean, really cold for me is in like the 40s.
Yeah, we're in the 20s over here. So, but no, that's cold. That would be cold for me too.
Well, because I lost all my major appliances 6 months ago, I still don't have an oven. And so I've been cooking on my outdoor kitchen, which is cool, to be grilling chicken and whatever else. But in 40-degree temperatures, it redefines cool. It's cold. And so I've been doing like a lot of microwave foods. That is old. No, I'm to go to a nice restaurant or have a real kitchen made meal, not from a microwave.
Wow. Yeah, we got so Ken, no big plans this week. Next week is Winter Pride in St. Pete, so I might go to that. But tonight I'm just relaxing. I didn't know Ken played for your team.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's a big fan. Yeah.
Okay.
He likes the video portion.
I'm sorry. What?
He watches because we're three attractive guys.
Oh, I see. That's it. Well, where is St. Pete? Is that Florida as well?
Yeah, that's about an hour south of here.
Well, I think you guys should just be in the middle, 45 minutes each way, and then you guys go on a romantic dinner.
I think he's actually in Pasco County too. I think he's on the east side by like Trinity and that area.
I don't know. Yerks, are you a fan of chocolate? It looks like Ken's a
Ken is a chocolatier, and he also was running today on CPT. Ken, you missed it. Actually, I did do a commercial, a live spot for my Cameo account, and that I was offering Valentine's messages to listeners. But I don't think you were tuned in yet, because I didn't see any response when I did it.
He said he
so
made
Ken was running on CPT too. I said that.
I think
I said when you I didn't realize the link. Yeah. I didn't realize that the link that you had was an old one because I just redid some stuff on Restream. And so I thought you were running on light CPT.
Oh yeah,
You like,
CPT light? No,
yeah,
no,
because you like
no,
medium
sir.
by comparison. But then I saw your message that the link wasn't working.
No, 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 sir. That is definitely not one of my traits. I am usually very punctual.
You're always late for this. You're always like,
oh, I mean,
and
wait, 5 minutes give or take is on time in my opinion.
I say, see, a Secret Service. If we were on time, we were late.
Yeah, that's why I probably wouldn't last that long in that. Like, well, see, here's the thing: is I grew up very much on time. I am very, 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 very much growing up on time. But then I lived in Hawaii, and Hawaii changed everything.
Belize is like that.
Yeah,
Belize.
Some places just change everything, and then it's just like for me, it's just like it was so frustrating. I remember just being to work on time and like the Hawaiian people, they just come in like whenever. It's like, hey, you're scheduled at 3:20. They roll in 3:45. One guy would just constantly show up like straight from the beach from surfing 4:10. It's like, bro, where were you? Nobody's mad. I'm like, what is going on here? So I almost feel like taking 5 minutes is acceptable. Just calm down.
I have a place in Belize on one of the keys, but there's another neighborhood that I like that's on this 19-mile long peninsula that is a long, narrow, basically it's a sand spit. There's spots where you can get off the road to one side and see the bay and get off the road immediately to the other side and see the Caribbean. It's that narrow at spots. And so it's a 2-lane road the whole way down to the southern tip of it, which is a small town called Placencia. And that's the Placencia Highway, the Placencia Peninsula, Placencia, the town. About a mile off the town is the Placencia Key, and it's the Placencia Bay. And I'm telling you all that because my realtor was headed to a meeting down in the town of Placencia. And he's in bumper-to-bumper traffic during like a holiday on the highway. So he's about 2 miles out, finally. He parks his car on the side of the road, gets out, and takes another hour trip to walk those 2 miles. After sitting in traffic for hours, already making him what you and I may consider to be late. He gets to his meeting for a showing like 4 hours after it was supposed to be. Everybody's still there. They're all happy to see him. Not considered to be, not being asked, where were you? Nothing like that. Does the showing.
That wouldn't fly for me.
What's that?
That wouldn't fly for me.
Yeah, 4 hours. I'm on to another property. I've placed an offer.
4 hours. I'm back at home eating lunch. What are you talking about? 4 hours?
Yeah, but for a real estate showing, I would have placed an offer by now. 4 hours later.
Right. Exactly.
And he's, yep. They were happy to see him. They placed the offer, got the property, whole 9 yards. Welcome to Belize.
Belize real estate. Let's go take a look at some Belize real estate.
I can actually show you where I'm at.
I can get a parcel. I can get a 3,000 square foot parcel. This place isn't cheap.
So here is a picture of where my place is. Oh, really? That's it? That sucks.
What's the crime like in Belize?
In the touristy areas, almost non-existent because there's a special police department just called the tourism police. It's that they're federal police that are better trained in worldly mannerisms and behaviors. So they're better at handling victims of crime. But also, Belize is like, they'll question you first, tune you up a little bit, and eventually get around to reading you your rights. They don't sugarcoat. Okay, so here you go. This is where my place is. Let me Let me share this. Hold on. Where's it at now? There we go. So this is the island of Key Calker. This, are you seeing my cursor?
Yep.
Okay, so this is an area known as the Split. This used to be connected in like the 1940s. I think they dug it out because Key Calker is a very long north-south island, like almost like Manhattan. It's the most narrow point. They dug it out in like the 1920s, I think, and then in the 1950s, Hurricane Hattie came through and widened it. You see this like dug area? That's because that's how the wind and such, has forced water to blow all this stuff apart. And this is actually a really strong current that comes through here 24 hours a day. So this is a big bar and like community park. Okay. And then I'm up here, right off the picture is where my lot is. I want to possibly start building on that this year, if not next year.
How much did you pay for your lot?
$60,000.
All right, so it isn't cheap. How big a lot is it?
60 by 90.
So what is that? 4,000, about 4,500 square feet.
Yeah,
60 by 90 or 50 something or 5,400.
54. Yeah.
Okay, so it's a normal suburban house lot.
It's actually the same dimensions as the lot that I'm sitting on here.
So it's just a normal lot. Yeah, that's not cheap. That's definitely not cheap.
I know what they're going for right now. I can get twice that right now.
You mean the price went up?
Yeah, doubled.
That's what I'm looking at right now. It looks like these lots are going for about 100 something. I see them for 200 and
yeah. So I've been going there since like 2013. I think was my first trip. This area here was much less developed. This wall was not in place yet. This was all like sand, grass. This small swimming hole here was actually very dangerous because it was blocked up by a bunch of like metal rebar that was what reinforced it and what kept this as a swimming hole. But it was also rusted and sharp and dangerous. Lots of money went into this. This was actually very well done. And at that time, civilization on this side of the island stopped right there at a little green box, which was the end of the electric. Now, this road that goes north all the way up the island is all lit by streetlights. And it's all, very well done. Area here. I don't know if I think this is the place where I lost a pair of flip-flops. When they built that's a man-made beach. When they built that, this resort over here was brand new and wasn't even open yet. I'm walking, along this thing and I see this beach. So I start walking along the beach and I'm in the water and I just, stop a minute to look at my phone. And as I'm looking at my phone, I see the horizon around me rising. And I'm like, what the hell's happening? I look down and I'm almost knee deep in sand. I'm in actual, what you would call quicksand, because that man-made beach wasn't settled yet. So I take my phone and I throw it inland to like a more stable area so that if I do get stuck, somebody can at least track me after a while and come get my ass out. But I crawl out of it. Of course, all dirty and sandy and muddy. And my flip-flops are still on the beach somewhere there.
Yeah, this place is not cheap, man. I'm looking at some of these apartments here. I mean, on this little island, your Key Calker is it called?
Key Calker.
Key Calker. Yeah. Man, this thing is, you can go it's like $2 million for a little place.
Some of the places, yeah.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah. In fact, this is a huge tourism. It is this particular island's number one export. And the biggest issue they have there is housing for hotel employees.
And the difference between the North and the South
And
Island, you said like the North is not as developed as the South. The prices are crazy different.
Yeah, the North Island is rural and the good side of the tracks, so to speak. The South side is the town, a little bit more urban. I mean, the streets are sand,
Mm-hmm.
and it's actually against the law to have a car on Key Calker. There are no cars. Yeah, the closest thing you've got to a car is a golf cart or a tractor.
Fun.
The biggest thing that comes through is this big tractor that is it's a water tractor that's got this big trailer behind it with like 5-gallon jugs of water that it sells to people who use that for drinking water. And then the fire department has actual small fire trucks, but that's it. The police department's on like gators. The only other thing that can be on our actual trucks are construction vehicles, but they have to be off the island by like 6 o'clock at night, 5 o'clock at night, something like that.
Interesting.
And that's the biggest expense a lot of these places have is shuttling their hotel employees back and forth to the mainland every day because there's no place for them that's affordable to live on the island.
Yeah.
There's hotels there's hotels that spend almost $250,000 every year just in shuttling their employees because that's all they got.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to pass on Belize. It doesn't look like a fun place. You have fun though.
It's amazing. No, I love it.
You have fun.
It's actually really fun and it's actually very safe. There's other areas that are also a little bit more accessible because they're on the mainland. But yeah, it's cool. I think you'd like it if you liked. I don't know if you're like an urban guy or if you're, what you are as far as a beach vacation, but I love it.
You can go straight up to Kitana Roo and get something for $250,000 US and 4 bedrooms, 4 bath over in Tulum. 4 bedrooms, 4 bath for $329
in Mexico. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the cartels are something you want to deal with.
Mexico is underrated. I mess with Tulum.
Yeah, but I know people are trying to get out of Acapulco because it's not the safe place that it used to be.
No, Acapulco is definitely not. Nope. We'll pass on Acapulco. That's for sure.
All right. Well, it's already after 1 o'clock. You got stuff to do too.
Yep, I got to go. Talk to you next week, guys.
And
bye, Ken.
I probably got to clean up. All right, everybody. All right, man. Thanks for joining me today, bud. And I'll see you again next week as well. Yeah, so I got a puppy to take out, but don't forget, you can get sign up for the Sea Ranch Civic Association by going to mysrca.com. You can get Jane and me by going to the Boyertown Area Expression at boyertownareaexpression.town.news. I'm going to be writing an article for Valentine's month about what we love, and I'm going to, of course, be talking about my job. You can also get Jane at studiobbb.org. Don't forget to call the Capitol Switchboard. Talk to your senator. Talk to your congressman or woman. Tell them that this Doge and illegal firing stuff has got to stop. DNR Studios. Sign up for DNR Studios by going to dnrstudios.com. That's for Derek and Romaine, me, and a bunch of other really cool shows. You can reach Matt by going to Matt at dailycryptonews.net or info@demarforcongress.com. And don't forget to listen to the Daily Crypto News every day for your crypto and investing information, not advice. Do stuff on your own. Reach out to Blake Fisher by writing at Blake at thehomelessconservative.com, and he releases the videos once or twice a week from thehomelessconservative.com. You can get us all by going to, I thought I clicked on it. There we go. By writing us at news, NEWZ, at Yergz, YERGZ.com. And for more information about all of us, go to yergz.com or mastiff.media. Don't forget, it's Valentine's Day. Scan the QR code on the screen right now or go to cameo.com/Yergz/book and get your cameo appearance from yours truly today. $5, that's all it takes. And you get a message that you get to keep forever. Remember, chocolates get eaten or melts, flowers die. My voice rattles in your head forever. All right, what else we got here? Yep, that's it. See you guys later. We'll see you on Monday. Have a great weekend. Happy Valentine's Day. And that's it. Thanks for running with the big dogs, getting off the porch. We'll see you Monday.